of West Virginia, police on a desperate search for a missing 3-year-old girl. Her mother goes into the little girl's bedroom 6:30 a.m. to check on her. Less than 3 hours later, when mommy goes in to wake her up, little Aliayah is gone, missing without a trace from her own bedroom. At least 6 people in the home, and nobody sees a thing. At this hour, an intense search underway. Canines, search teams on foot, divers, all searching for 3-year-old Aliayah.
Where is 3-year-old Aliayah Lunsford?
I went back in to wake her up, and she was gone.
Right now, there's no clues leading us anywhere. No clues. It's just like she's just disappeared.
Family members say Aliayah is a shy child.
Never leaves the house unless an adult is with her.
It was 6:30 in the morning the last time anyone saw the West Virginia toddler. Her mother says Aliayah had already vanished by 9 o'clock in the morning when she went to wake her little girl from bed.
We've did foot cameras in the neighborhood, used canines. Now we have divers in the water.
Aliayah is missing her top 4 front teeth. She has shoulder-length brown hair, brown eyes, and weighs 35 pounds.
They are doing everything that they possibly can, but the more people we can get to help, the better chances of bringing her home.
Good evening. I'm Jane Velez-Mitchell in for Nancy Grace tonight. A family devastated after a 3-year-old West Virginia girl vanishes from her own bedroom. Just 3 hours earlier, her mother sees the little girl in her Dora the Explorer PJs, and then this child disappears without a trace. For the very latest, let's go straight out to Ruben Perdue, news director for WAJR-FM. Ruben, I understand you have been to the scene. What do you know?
I tell you what, there are hundreds of volunteers. In fact, some of them had to be turned away today, Jane, from the primary search area close to young Aliayah's home, where they brought in dive crews today. At this hour, still searching with the dive crews. The sheriff's office not sure when they'll call off their efforts tonight. But this is now day 3 of the search, and it's obviously desperate times for anyone, let alone a 3-year-old toddler gone missing since early Saturday morning. They're still working. They're hoping to find something right now. They're simply looking for leads and young Aliayah.
Well, Joe Gomez, reporter, KTRH News Radio. This mother comes home, sees that her child is missing. What does she do? Because I understand she did not call 911 immediately. Tell us about it, Joe.
That's right, Jane. When she first found out that little Aliayah was gone, she got in her car and she drove around town frantically looking for her little angel, Jane. She was driving around so out of her mind that she ran out of gas, had to borrow gas from somebody, and then she finally made it back home, called the police. But there was about a 2-hour period there, Jane, from 9 to about 11:30 in the morning, where Mommy was just going out of her mind, going around town trying to find her little baby girl.
That's fascinating, because you'd think maybe you'd do that for a half an hour, 45 minutes, but at a certain point, you call 911. This is a tragic situation. Mark Klass, president and founder of Klass Kids Foundation, I understand they have not issued an Amber Alert. Why not, and does that disturb you?
Well, thank you, Jane. First of all, I agree that wandering around aimlessly for 2 hours serves no purpose whatsoever. Every parent should have some kind of a plan and action in place should this unimaginable kind of event occur. And that includes checking with friends, that includes checking around the house, that includes ultimately calling 911, all of the other law enforcement agencies, the media outlets, the nonprofit organizations, and really trying to get a jump start on any kind of an investigation.
Yeah, but what about the Amber Alert not being issued? Is that because they don't have a vehicle and they don't have a suspect description?
You know, yeah, I've had issue with the Amber Alert for the longest time, simply because the children that need it most generally don't qualify for it. You need to have a vehicle description and or a license plate number. But children like Polly, children like this little girl, these kidnappers, if there is a kidnapper in this case, they're not advertising this car. Nobody knows what these people are driving. So basically you find a situation where Amber Alerts now are only effective in family types of cases because you know what kind of a car the non-custodial parent is driving.
Yeah, and look at this beautiful beautiful angel. It's the only word I can think of. She's adorable. She's sweet. And she's missing. And Dr. Kathleen London, assistant attending physician at New York Presbyterian, we have now passed the 48-hour mark. But we're talking West Virginia. This is indeed, is it not, a race against time?
Absolutely. Children that young have larger body surface areas than adults, so they dehydrate quicker, they lose their body temperature quicker. So absolutely, this is very frightening.
Ellie Jostad, Nancy Grace producer, I understand there are reports that canines were actually able to track her scent to a nearby river. What do you know?
Right, that's right. The canines were brought in. They did find her scent. They were able to track it directly from the house to the river, which is only about 40 or so yards away. They say she would have had to walk around some brush to get to the river, but it's still less than a 100-yard walk. However, once they got to that river, that's where the trail goes cold. They've had divers searching for her. No sign of the girl in the river, so they've turned the search elsewhere, as well as keeping an eye on that river.
All right, I want to go to Michael Gass, who is the founder and trainer of the National Academy of Police Diving. Now, a river is a body of water that has a moving current. So how hard is that to search? I know they sent divers down there, but what about dredging it? I mean, what else can they do?
Well, the first thing you want to do is put divers in the water and get a feel for what the bottom is like and the contour and how fast the water is moving. Then after that, you set up a grid and you search the grid and you eliminate parts of the river.
Well, Ruben Perdue, you've been down to the scene. Have they done all that?
Today, when I saw them searching in the water, Jane, they were primarily focusing on the area directly behind young Aliayah's house and then a little bit downstream, maybe a quarter mile or so, maybe 5, 6, 7, 10 houses at the most, about a quarter mile. They were going up and down the river with a pontoon boat as well as a rowboat out there and a john boat. But the primary search that I saw this afternoon focused on the area right around the bend in the bridge area down the road from Aliayah's home, which was nearly directly behind it, which would have been where the canines tracked the scent to originally.
Yeah, and I want to go back to Joe Gomez. Apparently, cops are talking to people. How many people were inside the home when this precious child disappeared? And what are they doing to talk to those people to try to determine exactly what happened? Because one thing I don't understand is the mother goes in 6:30 a.m. She says, okay, the child's okay. Then she leaves to take the stepfather to work. Who's watching the kids when she left to take the stepfather to work?
Well, apparently, little Aliayah has about 4 siblings, brothers and sisters. They're various ages, all the way up to about 11 years old. So presumably one of these kids might have been in the house at the time, may have peeked in and saw little Aliayah. We don't know if that's the case or not. What we do know is that, Mommy came back to the house, and at 9:30, she's gone. Her little princess is gone, and she was even wearing a pink princess shirt and Dora the Explorer pajama bottoms, Jane.
Aww. It's heartbreaking when I look at this little face and I just think that something might have happened to this child. We pray not. We pray that maybe she's lost somewhere in the area and she's hiding out and we can find her. But it is a race against time, that's for sure. And we want to do everything we can to help find this child. Take a look at the clothes she's wearing. Take a look at that beautiful face. And there is a tip line. We're going to be putting it up all night so that you can be part of the solution here. We pray that we find this child. Jason, Canada, your question or thought, Jason?
Hi, Jane.
Jason?
Hi.
Hey.
Hi, Jane. How are you doing tonight?
There you go. Okay, what's your question or thought, Jason?
Were the windows left open at the time the child went missing?
All right, let's go back to Ruben Perdue. The question is, did somebody perhaps break in? So tell us about this house. You've seen it. Is it secure? Are the doors secure doors? Or would it be easy for an intruder to get in the window or the door?
Sure, Jane. I talked with the sheriff this afternoon about that along with Lieutenant Parks, and they said right now they show no indication that there was anyone inside the house, no signs of any type of entrance, no signs of any type of a break-in, and no indication from the family that anyone was inside the home before she was missing and now is gone when she was not missing. But the only indication we get is there was a door on the home, and from what I understand, it may have been a bedroom door that didn't shut all the way. I don't believe it was an outside door. I do want to make an important clarification, Jane, if we have time. There's no indication that the mother left to take the stepfather to work. She got up with him in the morning. The mother is right now pregnant, expecting twins in about 2 weeks. She was up to simply see the stepfather off to work. No indication that she left. He was, in fact, picked up at the house and taken to work by a co-worker. She did not leave the home to take him to work. She was in the home the entire morning.
So she's pregnant with twins, and she has little Aliayah. Does she have other kids? And if so, how many? And what are their ages?
5 siblings. We believe that those children are 4, 3, 5, 9, and 11. 5 children in the home, including 3-year-old Aliayah, and expecting twins in a couple of weeks.
All right. I want to go to Paula Bloom, clinical psychologist. Why would the mother, when she realizes her child is missing, drive around for hours and hours? Why wouldn't she call 911 immediately?
Yeah, it just doesn't look good. Listen, there's a wide range of different reactions that people can have in these kinds of situations. This feels very outside the realm of something that you would expect a parent to do. A lot of times, hey, we don't want to bother law enforcement. We may have an issue, a past with law enforcement. We don't want to bring them in. We want to do it ourselves as a parent. But I have to say, it feels to me very unusual and outside the realm of what I would expect.
Except that we never know how we would act. I hate to judge because I think the first thing you do is say, you go into denial. This can't be happening. This can't be happening. She's got to be somewhere, right? And if you call 911 from a psychological perspective, it's like, I'm acknowledging that there's a crisis here and that my child is missing. So I think people do instinctively try to solve it themselves, and sometimes that's a big mistake. All right, it's week 2 of season 13 of